Hi, I'm Mike Brofman, and welcome to another episode of Song and Wine, Brooklyn Art Song Society's awesome show where we discuss upcoming concerts and we drink awesome wine from Waterfront Wines. I'm joined today by soprano Laura Strickling,
hello,
returning champion, who is joining us for our upcoming concert at the Brooklyn Historical Society on March 17th, which features all the songs of Benjamin Britten, and is the concluding concert of our Britannica series, which we are going to miss very much. Our wine, as always, is brought to you by Waterfront Wines at 360 Furman Street in Brooklyn Heights. They specialize in organic and all-natural wines, and you should check it out. Today's wine is Colle del Mancuso, and we're going to give it a try right now and see how we like it. Cheers.
Oh, it smells amazing.
I just drink it. I skip all the niceties. It is good.
It's really good.
So let's talk about Benjamin Britten.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question is, what do you like about Benjamin Britten? What is the things that appeal to you about him as a composer?
I think one of the things that is notable is his choice of text. You know, we're song people, so words matter to us. And the way that Britten sets them is so present and so, he follows all the word stresses in just the most wonderful ways. And especially, I'd say in the song Seascape, you can almost hear the sounds of the ocean. And that's not just because of the way Britten wrote the song, although that's in large part. It's also because of the words that Auden chose to describe the sea, and how the two of those things working together just creates this absolutely gorgeous song.
Yeah, I think the thing that I realized only with this concert when I started writing the program notes for it is that in this concert alone, Britten set texts that span 400 years. Because the earliest stuff is John Donne, who was from the Renaissance in the 15 and 1600s. And then there's William Blake, who was in the 19th century, and then Auden, who was a contemporary of his. And there's no composer who set, or certainly set equally well, such an incredible sort of diversity of language. Because not only did he set, 400 years worth of English texts, he set in French, he set in German, he set in Russian. He really is a man of words first, and he was extremely well written, and he probably the overwhelming majority of his output, certainly in terms of time, when you count all his operas, is settings of texts. So he was someone who just knew how to set a text.
Yeah.
He has this sort of darkness in a lot of his music that creeps up on you. Like, you're listening to something and it seems sort of nice and pleasant, and before you realize it, it's kind of like taking the turn to be really menacing and dark, and you didn't even realize it until it's like too late almost. Which is an effect that I think very few other composers are able to do, or that did. I think it's kind of something unique to Britten's emotional palette.
I already mentioned Seascape. I think to me it is the most kind of brightly descriptive and wonderful song, and it's iconic to him. I think I remember when I was a kid, I think like Carnival Cruise Line was using it as their theme song, because it's just so beautifully descriptive of the waves and the seagulls and the air and everything. So I think there's just something about that song that just immediately appeals to me. Let the Florid Music Praise is just like classic perfect Britten, and it's also, it shows different moods within the same song. So like the beginning is almost kind of like a Baroque recitative, and then it there's a little bit of coloratura, and then there's this just absolutely gorgeous, arioso, and it's I know a lot of people maybe who don't sing this whole cycle, but excerpt now Let the Florid Music Praise, because it's
that's kind of like the hit from that cycle.
Yeah.
I think the song that really affects me is Johnny, which is the third.
And Sam sings it.
Yeah, so well. And partially that Sam That's her song.
Yeah, it's her song.
But it's a cabaret song, and it's it's actually another thing with Britten where something that seems like it's going to be light actually has this really, and basically it's sort of this woman who's in love with her Johnny, and then you think that it's just going to be a nice little parlor song about meeting a nice boy and falling, and then it ends up that like she's not really Johnny's lover, she's Johnny's stalker. And she's gone completely insane and like had a complete mental breakdown over this guy who left her. And also, I mean, he's just a great melodist. Yeah. Like you even in the William Blake songs, which are opus 74 of I think 84 or 85, or maybe he had a couple more opuses than that. But very at the end of his life when he was writing very modern atonal music, and William Blake song has everything. It has serialism, it has aleatoric stuff like chants elements, it has atonal things, it has crazy rhythm. But at the end of the day, with all that insanity, there's just really memorable, great melodies in it that are tuneful, and that you can remember and hum afterwards. And even in that idiom, he was capable of like eking out melodies that are great. And
composed his entire life. I think he wrote his first song cycle, like I said, in French. When he was like 8 or 12 or something. It was something very young. So obviously he takes a journey from like his ability to write extremely complex music, and he's experiencing the trends of his day. So like serialism came in, and he did it. And he did it in his way. Like it's his serialism is not Schoenberg's serialism.
And since Britain didn't have this sort of like tradition, the way that Germany did, the way that France did, Italy did, he could kind of do whatever he wanted. He could take other people's styles. He could write, and that's why I think it was kind of okay for him to write art song in like many different languages, because it wasn't like he had to uphold some great glorious tradition that it was blasphemous to not do so. Or there wasn't, the Germans had the sort of lineage of, Beethoven to Wagner and to the Second Viennese School, but he could use those techniques when they were useful to him and just ignore them when they weren't, So I think that's part of the reason why he has such a interesting voice. But
you should definitely come to the concert.
Come to the concert. The concert is March 17th, Brooklyn Historical Society. It is myself and Laura and Spencer Meyer and Matthew Morris, Samantha Malk, and the tenor Joseph Gaines. You can get your tickets on Brown Paper Tickets. And you can check us out at www.brooklynartssongsociety.org. Like us on Facebook. Our Twitter is at Brooklyn Art Song. And until next time,
go Britten.
Go Britten.